Yes, make una listen to this EFCC. This woman is trying to explain wetin be forfeiture. My people, in dey tell the person wey call am say forfeiture is not a fine. He try to explain wetin e mean. Now from there, they let her understand say anyhow you explain am, forfeiture na fine, forfeiture na crime, forfeiture na wetin anybody when they do criminal things, now waiting they take they punish am, either they send her to jail, he forfeit something for him or her not to go jail, or they seize the thing from the person. Just like person when we say he go kidnap the person, he put her for house. When government find out say that house, now they keep people when they kidnap, when they keep them, they will destroy the house. So now the thing when una will listen to now be this. Una will listen how they explain and how they analyze the meaning of forfeiture. My people, as you watch this video, so I beg share this video so that other people will see it too. Don't forget, so we have national after on this platform. I don't come again, not the kill us. Up, now we use and they go. I could live now, make now watch am. Now be this, not all.
Forfeiture is not a fine. It is not a fine.
Okay.
It's a
Forfeiture
tool.
is not a fine.
It's not a fine. It's a tool to deprive the criminal from enjoying the benefits of his criminal activities. It's to deprive him, to stop him from enjoying his illegal acquired wealth. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The EFCC official trying to explain what forfeiture means. In her own understanding, it's a way of stopping a criminal from enjoying the proceeds of his crime. No matter how you explain what forfeiture means, it's still the same thing. It's a fine, as described already by our own Supreme Court and the United States Supreme Court. Even the literal meaning of forfeiture, it still means losing something as a form of punishment or penalty. So what it means is that the meaning of forfeiture is universally accepted. We accept the meaning in Nigeria, security agencies accept the meaning, even in the United States, everywhere. So no one can come and tell us, no, it means a different thing, or that the Constitution says that there's a time limit, that it didn't happen. Now, since forfeiture means a fine for wrongdoing or criminal activity, was Tinubu fined in the United States? Yes, he was fined. It's not in contention. In fact, his lawyers accepted in court that he was fined. They were only arguing that he didn't do time, that the US authorities just took $460,000 being proceeds of narcotics trafficking from his account, that he never went to prison, he was never convicted. Before we answer this, let's see Mohammed Abacha's case. He didn't do time, he didn't go to prison, but monies and property belonging to the Federal Republic of Nigeria were recovered from him. You see, sometimes in litigations, when you are looking for money that belongs to the state, take for instance, you are looking for $1 million that someone stole or out of negligence, whatever, you want to recover that money. You don't want to spend excessive amounts of money in litigation, in court cases, in order to recover that money. You need to look at it from the business angle. The less money you spend pursuing the $1 million, the more you gain and recover for the country. So the prosecutors in Mohammed Abacha's case just had to focus on the money. They just had to recover it while spending the least amount possible. Just like what happened to Emefiele when he was suspended as the CBN governor. The SSS had to fly him to Abuja on a private jet. How much does it cost to charter a private jet to fly someone to Abuja? Let's even assume they were so much in a hurry to move him to Abuja. At the end of the day, they didn't even charge him the next day or in 2 days. It took them 6 weeks after many court orders and uproar from people. What about what they eventually charged him for? They didn't charge him for anything they were accusing him of doing all the time, even when Buhari was still there. They once accused him of sponsoring IPOB and all sorts of things. At the end of the day, look at what they charged him for. That he owns a gun without a license. Laughable. Even at that, the court still gave him bail of 20 million naira. But instead of allowing due process and obeying the court order, they still took him with them. And they now went back to court to apply for 14 days more to detain him. The court rightly refused. You have detained someone for 6 weeks. It's not enough. You couldn't do any investigation even before arresting the person. While in detention for 6 weeks, you couldn't do any investigation to charge him. So it shows that they are just after something. They want to force him to resign, but he doesn't want to. According to the law, to remove a central bank governor, you have to get 2/3 in the National Assembly to remove him. So if Tinubu truly wants to remove Emefiele as the current CBN governor, he should go to the National Assembly. Let him get 2/3 there and remove him. Otherwise, the law still recognizes him as the current central bank governor until his tenure expires in 2024. Now, back to Tinubu's forfeiture, you can understand why the prosecutors in the United States didn't want to go after him. Just like in Mohammed Abacha's case, they were just interested in getting the money. So in the United States, they say, oh, get this guy, get this money. After all, he opened an account with the same address where the US customs have already discovered that it's a drop-off point for packages coming from Nigeria. So people have been sent to prison already. They just trace the money. So they said, this guy is not in the United States, no need pursuing him. Even at that time, US didn't have any bilateral agreement for extradition. So it couldn't have even worked if they applied to extradite him to the United States. So they just said, let's get this money from this guy. So now to the question, what was Tinubu fined for? He was fined for narcotics trafficking and money laundering. So after seeing all this, why will such a character be the president of Nigeria? When we have literal saints, not even talking about people who contested the election. No. We still have thousands of saints in Nigeria who have no criminal record, who are not involved in anything like narcotics or fraud or anything at all. Why should the worst of us lead us? And the worst part is that he didn't even win the election. He did everything to win it normally, but it didn't work. Buhari already nailed the chance of APC, whoever the candidate, not just Tinubu. If they had produced another person in their primaries, he wouldn't have won a free and fair election. That's why they are going after Emefiele, because of his failed Naira redesign policy. Not that Emefiele is a saint, but no matter what someone did, we have laws in Nigeria. You cannot detain someone indefinitely, like the SSS are doing. They brought Emefiele to court and the court granted him bail. At that point, Emefiele should be in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service, not the SSS. So they are doing it to Emefiele today. Tomorrow, they might do it to someone else who didn't even do anything that you can compare to what Emefiele did. So their rascality and lawlessness is not what you see in a democracy. In fact, during the military, the SSS didn't behave this way. Why are they now behaving like rascals in a democratic dispensation? So it's obvious that what is going on is a vendetta, but they shouldn't seek that vendetta outside the rule of law. They shouldn't detain anyone more than the time the court permitted them to do so. Investigations should start before you make arrest. That's how it's done. You don't arrest someone because you can perceive the order of a crime from him. No, that's not how it works. You have to do investigation before making an arrest. Then immediately you arrest that person within 24 hours or 48 hours maximum. You charge that person to court. Immediately the person is charged to court. They raise a remand order. The person is handed over to the correctional service. Is in their custody now. You don't have anything to do with the person anymore. So that is the normal rule of law. The court should not also stand by and watch these people trample on human rights. Also, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judges should never feel intimidated. In fact, the more they try to threaten them or intimidate them into submission, the more their resolve should harden. They should never fail to do the right thing. There are many grounds for disqualification, which we have already done in many videos. There is massive evidence that they didn't win the election. Everything is before them. Let them do justice so that this country can be saved. At this stage of our development in Nigeria, we should no longer be doing trial and error. How can they remove fuel subsidy without any form of impact assessment on the economy? Who does that? The cost of living in Nigeria has quadrupled, even more than many Western countries as at today. And anyone who does trial and error means he doesn't know the job. Will you give that kind of person the job to do for you? Will you allow that kind of person to head your company? Or will you allow someone that is still a learner driver to drive you along the highway? No one does that. It's a huge risk to take, especially when the lives of millions of Nigerians are involved.
Just go through these baby steps of pain. Me too, I'm taking baby steps.
In conclusion, everyone knows that forfeiture is a crime. Isn't that an indication of what the tribunal judges will do? Yes, it's one of the grounds for disqualification. And that judgment day should not be more than 2 weeks from now. And don't forget that tomorrow, the respondents will file in their final addresses. And starting from the same tomorrow, we'll start bringing you their summaries running into the weekend. Thanks for watching.